It's supposed to feel.
Good morning and welcome to Starbucks. I am one of your usual hosts, Jim, and joining me and making his Starbucks debut, Tyler. What's going on?
Starbucks debut from home. We did do one in Bradenton.
That's true. So your first Starbucks debut from home.
It should be my second, but Denardo slept in the one time.
That's true. Yeah, there was
I
one
was up
time
and
where
ready.
you were supposed to be on in my place, and Denardo slept in. So
Correct.
let this just be proof to everyone that the two of us are the two hardest workers.
That is correct.
Of
I have
of
to
this
be
podcast.
out. I've got to shower and be out the door within the next 45 minutes, but I had to be on here.
Yeah, because you're just a company man.
Exactly.
I
do what I can for the team.
So let's since you do have to be out of here pretty quick, we're gonna make this a short and sweet show. We've got a few things to talk about today. Let's just get right into our single shot. All right, so Pirates opening weekend. They take the opener on Thursday, but then drop Saturday and Sunday's game. It's one weekend, so it's hard to jump to it's easy to jump to conclusions on some things, but you don't really want to take everything and react too quickly to it, because again, it's a pretty long season, but this is what we have to work with right now. So Tyler, I guess what stood out to you this opening series? Anything in particular that we want to talk about?
You're right. It's hard not to overreact to the first series. And what are you if you're not overreacting to it, what are you doing? You're bound to have opinions on everything. You have to. We haven't been able to talk about real baseball in 6 months. We got to overreact to it. I think the overreaction just has to come back to the bats right now. They did not win the series, and it wasn't because of the pitching. It was because they could not get the timely hit. They didn't hit well enough in the series. It's not that I think they had good at bats. I think pretty much 1 through 8 in the lineup, and you know who 9 is, had quality professional at bats for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't able to get the job done with runners on, and hopefully that's something that's finds its level for them. Aside from that, I mean, I think pitching was at a capable level. I'm not going to say it was great. It was good enough to win some games.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the whole series in general, I think the pitching staff gave up 12 runs total. I mean, if you give up 12 runs, it's a 4 ERA. That should win you. That should win you a couple ball games, right? So, yeah, I think the pitching was fine. I think the starters did okay. None of the starters were great by any means. Every one of them had their flaws throughout their starts. None of them, I don't think any of them went more than 5. Rich Hill went 5. That was the longest anyone went. Bullpen, I think, for the most part, overperformed my expectations. Everyone really outside of Chase DeYoung seemed, had success and got the job done.
Yeah. I was trying to think back to the bullpen. I don't know that Underwood Jr. looked great, but for the most part, everybody did their job this weekend out of the pen, which I think we both called it a pretty yucky bullpen.
It is. So, I think Underwood got himself in trouble, but I think he got out of it. So,
right.
DeYoung was the only reliever to give up a run.
Yeah, and he didn't look great, but for the most part, for everyone else, the bullpen looked fine. Starting pitching looked fine. We also have to keep in mind that it was the Reds. The Reds are not a good baseball team.
Nope.
So With it also being a small sample size, it was also a small sample size against another bad baseball team.
Yeah.
So, of
No,
course,
I mean,
we have all the reaction.
Yeah, of course. So we're reacting to 2 bad baseball teams in 3 days. Yeah, the bullpen looked fine. I think the biggest thing I took was, O'Neal Cruz had a pretty good spring too. I think O'Neal Cruz put up some really good at bats throughout the entire series. Lots of times, even like against tough lefties, getting the 2 strike counts, staying like just within himself, getting the job done. There was a particular at bat in Saturday's game against Nick Lodolo, where he got behind, I think 0-2.
Yeah.
Lodolo threw him a slider or a curveball. He stuck with it, hit it back up the middle, drove in a run. So really good series from Cruz. And then he had just the bomb that he hit on opening day against Hunter Green. That was just power versus power, which you just love to see.
Yeah. I think we have seen a lot better from O'Neal Cruz, and certainly we did last July, but really we're seeing him being able to lay off of that slider away, that curveball in the dirt. We haven't seen him susceptible to that in the first series. We saw it a little in spring, but we started to see the discipline look better in spring. There were glimpses of it not being great, but we're seeing him improve and put together more consistent professional at bats. He's never going to be perfect all the time. So just getting a little more consistency out of him, that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, it was pleasant to see. He looked more like, that last month of the season Cruz than he did the first month, after being called up Cruz. So if he can be that last month of the season Cruz, or even expand upon that a little bit, I think we're going to be in good shape when it comes to him. Trying to think, Andrew McCutchen played all 3 games in the series, so he's back in the black and gold. So it was nice to see him out there. He had a good series too. I almost forget like his eye. It's so he just doesn't swing at balls. And with the way that a lot of pitchers are nowadays, he's going to rack up some walks. I think he had 5 walks this series.
Yeah.
His on-base percentage was over 500 for the series. So, and then made a really great play in the outfield too in the finale of the series yesterday. So, really good series from McCutchen. I can't, like I said, I talked about it a little bit yesterday with Neil on the post-game show, but can't wait for that home opener where he gets to step in that box for the first time.
Yeah. He looked great at the plate. It's at the point now, if he goes down looking on strike 3, Dom probably made a bad call.
Yeah.
He sees the ball really well, and we started to see that the bat still can play at 36 years old. He was able to still get around on some tough pitching from Cincinnati, being how bad they are.
Yeah. No, it was a good way to open the season for McCutchen, for Cruz. Reynolds got his first homer out of the way. Team in general, you'd like to take that series, especially when you've got some tougher games coming up here. But we got a new series coming up, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But before we get into the next segment, anything else you want to add about that series, Tyler?
No, it's over. It sucks that it was taken as a loss, but
it's nice that baseball's back, though.
Yeah, and it's nice to watch a Pirates team that at least looks competitive.
Yeah, offense just needs to get going.
Right.
Yeah.
On a micro level, individual players look more competitive.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. All right. Well, that'll be it. All our talk for the opening series there. Let's head to our double shot. All right. So we haven't really had a chance to talk about this on air yet, but a lot of details coming out as far as the negotiations and Bryan Reynolds' deal. Jason Mackey was kind of the first to report some details here. It's an 8-year, $106 million contract that the two sides have already agreed upon years and money. But the hang up here is Bryan Reynolds' camp wants an opt-out clause. I don't think the Pirates have ever done an opt-out clause. They have become kind of a like a mainstream thing for like bigger deals nowadays in Major League Baseball. Like I said, Pirates haven't done it. $106 million. This would be the largest contract the Pirates have ever signed. It's still a complete steal. When you break it down and do the math, I think it's like a $13 million annual deal, somewhere to that effect. 106 divided by 8,
I think it's
13,
13.25.
yeah, 13.25 million a year. Absolute steal for Bryan Reynolds. The problem here is the opt-out is after year 4, which means you're signing him to this long-term deal. And if he wants, he can opt out after the 4th year of the contract. So that's what the Pirates are hung up on right now. They're not really willing to give that at this point. Tyler, are they right?
Unfortunately, I mean, I think you have to say they're right. I don't really see how you can sign him to this deal with an opt-out after year 4. What's that give you? An extra year with him?
Yeah.
Is there really a point to that? I don't really see it. I think there's ways around it that you can get him from doing the opt-out or wanting the opt-out. It's just going to require the Pirates to come out in money, and I don't know that we're going to see that. So right now, it's for what the deal is as being reported. I think the Pirates are right to not want to take that deal, but I don't think it's that difficult to get a deal done at this point when Bryan Reynolds has already come down this much. If the Pirates really wanted to get a deal done, I think it should already be done.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, if you're the Pirates, you can't really take this deal. And yeah, you got, like, Reynolds' camp came down quite a bit, and you look at the years and the dollars, and it's a very friendly team contract, right? You throw that opt out in there though, and what that does is, because like you mentioned, you're gonna have Reynolds for 3 years anyways, at a cost controlled point. So you're gonna have him for 3 years anyways. Once you throw that opt out in for year 4, just all of the risk transfers to the Pirates, right? Like, at that point, Bryan Reynolds isn't really giving up much. He's giving up 1 year of free agency, right?
Right.
And Bryan Reynolds, if he plays well over the next 3 years, he opts out and he gets more money. If he doesn't play well, then the Pirates are stuck paying him in a backloaded deal when he may not be living up to that contract amount. So I'm with you. The way that the deal is being reported right now, if I were the Pirates, I wouldn't sign this deal. But I'm right on board with you. Like, the original ask for Reynolds was, same amount of years, but a lot, more money, right? So what if we were to go and we were to just give him 3 million more a year? Like, what if it's 8 million 30, what does that make it? 8 million 31, 131 million, right? 8 years, $131 million. And then be like, you know what? No opt out with this. Does that get it done? I don't know. But I think it's a good sign the two sides are talking. They actually came to an agreement on, a pretty meaningful portion of the deal. Now it's just a matter of, can we find something that works out for both sides? And I think the way to get there, if you're the Pirates, is to just offer more money.
Yeah, I'm with you. It seems like that's what it's going to take. It's just more money. I think even if you could get him maybe to opt out after year 5,
Yeah.
that's a little more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 2 years of his free agency out of that. Then he still gets, a good chunk of his career that he can go get another payday if he really wants to.
Right.
Year 4 is that's a sticking point. You can't go there.
Yeah, I think that I'm hung up on the same thing. You can't sign that deal. It just doesn't make sense. Like, the whole point of locking up a player like that is, like, you're committing to him for a long term. He's committing to you, and when you're just the opt out being there isn't accomplishing that.
Right.
I do want to get a deal done, but I want to get a deal done without an opt out. So let's just pay the guy fair market value. Like, can we please just do that, and then we don't have to worry about any of this?
Yeah, play with you. Like, an opt out after year 4 is basically just smoke and mirrors on an extension.
Yeah. So there was an update yesterday. Basically, the two sides haven't really moved. That's the update. The update is that there's no update.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens going forward. But if they could get something done by like the home opener, that could be some fun PR. Like, what if they announce a deal, home opener, press conference? So they got a week to get it done.
Look, if they get a deal done somehow, I will become a lot softer on Ben Sherrington than I have been.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, that's knocking out a pretty big piece of this rebuild.
It really is.
Yeah. And it's doing something that this Pirates organization, we just haven't seen them do.
Right.
We haven't seen them do this much. They locked up to Brian Hayes. They got Andrew McCutchen back. So they've made like a string of like actually decent PR moves, things that fans like, things that make the team better long term. Yeah. So if they can get this done, yeah, good move. But yeah, we probably need to up that money a little bit because what's being reported right now just isn't going to work.
No, 13 million a year for Bryan Reynolds. There's going to be something that he gets out of it.
Yeah, he has to. If that's going to be the case, you have to give him something substantial. And that's what that opt-out is.
Exactly. So just give him more money and let's move on.
All right. Well, like I said, we're gonna be a little quick here today. So that's our Bryan Reynolds talk for the day. Hopefully we get some more news this week and it's positive news. But let's head to our triple shot. All right. So Pirates head to Boston today. They will face Cutter Crawford in today's opener. Then they've got Nick Pivetta, Corey Kluber. So I've heard of two of those three guys. Cutter Crawford.
I don't know
quite
who
sure
Cutter Crawford is.
Who that guy is, but Johan Oviedo faces off against Cutter Crawford today. We get our first Rowanzi day of the year on Tuesday as he faces off against Pivetta, and then Mitch Keller brings us home against Corey Kluber in the final series. Boston looked pretty good, I know, in their last game. They went 2-1 against Baltimore to open up the season. Tons of offense. Boston scored 9 runs in each of their first 3 games of the season. So 27 runs over 3 games. I think if the Pirates want to get something done this series, they're going to have to the bats are going to have to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that this is a good series to be able to get those bats to wake up. They're not really seeing guys that are going to dice you up from the Red Sox. I think Pavetta's not a bad arm, but Cutter Crawford, neither of us know who the hell he is. Great pitcher name, by the way.
I agree. It is a good name. I wonder if he throws a cutter.
You would hope so, but with the name Cutter Crawford, you can't have a 5.47 ERA last year. You got to be a little bit better than that. Yeah. Or just, I'm assuming Cutter can't be his real name and he's going to have to switch. Go back to his real name.
All right. He does throw a cutter. It's his second most used pitch. So
it has to.
Yeah.
You have to.
I mean, that's just one of those things where if you're a kid, like you're a high school kid growing up, your name's Cutter, you got to develop a cutter.
Yeah. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You were born into it.
Right. If you had a kid on your team, pitching coach, Tyler here, definitely.
Oh, we're learning it. We're learning a cutter at the age of 6.
And we're just throwing it nonstop. Yeah. We're going to be the next Mariano Rivera.
That's it.
No, so Cutter Crawford takes the hill. He's not good, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, looking at his numbers, that's probably the Pirates' best chance of a win this series. So hopefully they can bounce back. And I said Oviedo looked good in spring training, especially towards the end there. So hopefully he can keep that going. But I think this is Boston's opening day, home opener today. So, no, they opened at home against the Orioles. Never mind. So we won't have to deal with all the festivities before the game.
Well, that's good.
That is good. But Pirates get to go to Fenway. Short porch in left field. How many home runs are the Pirates hitting over the monster?
Oh, I think that and they're
4.5
over the monster.
Over the monster.
Like home runs over the monster, not just home runs.
Home runs over the monster. And we'll make it 2.5. Over under 2.5.
Under. I don't know if they get 1.
Ooh,
They just don't have righties.
They don't. And I don't think they're not facing any lefties this series either. So
Yeah,
we
they
got
don't.
3 righties.
Rodolfo's the only one with a shot, I would say.
Rodolfo. Hayes could do it. Reynolds could do it, like if he's batting
Yeah,
right-handed.
I guess, but
I want to see Cruz just flick one right over the monster, Oppo Taco.
yeah, I mean, it is a possibility, but I don't think they get more than one over the monster this series. I really do think it's a opportunity for the offense to get right, though. Kluber's not nearly what he used to be. We already talked about Cutter Crawford and whatever the hell that is. Like I said, he's fine.
Pavetta's fine. Yeah.
He's not a bad arm. So and the Red Sox in general just aren't really that good.
Yeah, so we talked about how much they scored this past weekend, but if you look, they also gave up a lot of runs. They gave up, so they scored 27 runs, but they gave up 23 runs in 3 games. So now they were facing a team with arguably a much better offense than the Pirates in Baltimore. But they got touched up a little bit. Adam Duvall was kind of the series hero there for the Red Sox. He came up with a lot of big hits throughout that series. So we'll see if the Louisville grad, keeps it going against the Pirates. But so I'm excited to watch some Adam Duvall a little bit. Not a lot more here. Oviedo being in the rotation, it would be nice if he took a step forward. I don't know if he's a starting pitcher, but if he can be serviceable for at least, a couple months here before.
Well, at least a couple months.
At least a couple months. With Brubaker out now, may need Oviedo all year long.
Isn't it funny how it's every year we argue about who should be in the rotation, and every year it just ends up working itself out somehow.
It does, yeah. But no, I mean, as far as the Pirates pitching staff goes, Oviedo, Contreras, Keller, you've got the 3 most interesting arms going this series. So that's kind of the thing that you can watch. See if Keller can bounce back from his opening day mishap. He didn't really didn't get the results that he wanted. And then, like I said, Contreras making his season debut. That'll be always fun to watch there. But game time tonight, 7:10 p.m. We'll have a post-game show afterwards. We'll do post-game shows all week long. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, that's what I'm most looking forward to. I think it's just, the 3 most interesting pitchers on the staff. And then I want to see Cruz flick one over that monster.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Contreras. Obviously want to see Mitch Keller pitch every time he's out there, but I am slightly a little more intrigued by Oviedo than I probably was last year, just seeing how he pitched in spring training and seeing some of the glimpses we saw last year.
From like his pitching last year, the guy has good stuff. He gets strikeouts. It's just sometimes doesn't know where he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, and that's kind of a big part of pitching. We're both on the boat that we think he's a reliever, but if somehow they can get some sort of quality starts out of him, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I'm just interested in seeing him in the rotation a little more this year than I probably was last year, but I still have a quick hook on him. I don't really need to see him that long if he's struggling because he's just too good in the pen.
Yep, absolutely, I agree. And Contreras starts off his 2023 season, so a lot of good stuff to look forward to this series.
And we're back to normal times for games.
Other than Wednesday. This series, yeah. So we got a day game on getaway day, and then we go back to your favorite 4 p.m. starts.
I hate those. I hate 4 p.m. It's just such a weird time.
Yeah, well, and then Saturday, no 7:00 games this weekend. We got a 4:12, a 6:35, and a 1:35.
4:12. Why?
4:12.
I guess, but why?
Opening day, yeah.
I guess, but I don't like 4 o'clock games. It's just right in the middle of my day. It throws everything off. I like 1 o'clock. I get the game over with. I move on with my day. Although just a quick mention, the pitch clock has been terrific.
It really has. Like this opening series, Saturday I went to the game in Cincinnati, and I mean it wasn't a pitching duel by any means. There were 8 runs scored, but that game took I want to say it was 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it was just moving along.
Right.
It was excellent.
I did the post game that day, and I was making dinner, and all of a sudden I looked out and it was the bottom of the 8th. I was like, crap.
Yeah.
I have to go get ready.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a very enjoyable experience. And like I said, I talked about it a little bit just because I've gone to some minor league games, and you don't really notice the pitch clock while you're watching the game. You don't. There's the couple instances like yesterday there was one instance where Velasquez had an automatic ball because he didn't get the pitch off in time. That was really the only time you noticed it the entire game. But once the end of the game rolls around, you're like, this is awesome. Like I just saved 30 minutes of my day. So no, awesome stuff there. I'm gonna let you go here, so we'll hop off here. But yeah, 3-game series at Boston coming up. Tune in to however you consume us, YouTube, podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is that you do with whenever you're listening to us. But we'll be on air after every single game in the series. But thanks for hopping on this morning, Tyler. I appreciate it. Beats doing a solo show there. We'll get you ready for work here and out the door. But thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.